Good morning, everybody. As always, if you like bad replays, badly identified ships, or just want to hear me make a complete fool of myself, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It is much appreciated. So, what do we have today? Today we actually have a clan battle. It is ASALT, my clan that I belong to, versus KSC. Now, personally, I can't play clan battles really. And there's a long story. As we look at the top-down map, we're looking at it from Louise's perspective in his Manfred von Richthofen. Being one of the better CB players that we have, he is the obvious choice. So why can't I play clan battles? I live in South Africa. Many years ago when I played World of Tanks, the infrastructure, the undersea cables, the ping, etc., was actually less to the North American server than it was to the European server. Ooh, we see Louise doing a bit of a really nice scouting run there. Spots a Petro, Richthofen, Salem. Comes for a rocket attack. And he gets 10 hits on the Petro. Anyway, as I was saying. So the ping was less to the North American server. Then, for a long while, I played World of Tanks, played World of Warships on the North American server. I never bothered opening a European account when the infrastructure got better, because, let's be very honest, I'm far too lazy to grind most of the ships that I have again. Louise makes a scout around the sea cap, and clan battles happens roughly between 1 a.m. and 4 or 5 a.m. my time, so I would have to stay awake during my most important sleep time for clan battles. So no, unfortunately, it's not a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I sleep. I have a day job, and we'll cover that. I'm planning on doing a video in the future explaining who I am, what I do, etc. So we see Louise get 2 torpedo hits there on the Salem pre-drops. So there's 3 caps that are being contested, A, B, C. We can see ASALT and a Des Moines capturing B. C is being captured by the gearing that KSC has brought. And A cap is the big contested one. We have Norg in his Stalingrad. We have Field Minotaur in his Tunisia. And then there is a Petropavlovsk. I'm not sure who's in the Petra, we'll see in a second. They've got a Petropavlovsk. And I think a Goliath down here. Goliath, interesting choice for clan battles, but that thing sets fire to anything that it just touches. Doesn't have much armor though. The two are staying fairly well together, obviously trying to create as much of a flak bubble as possible. Ooh, double Citadel hit for 17,000 there by Louise. And being Citadel hits, that Goliath is going to struggle to actually heal that back up. We see Viper Velocity in his Minotaur there. So it's an interesting composition. ASALT has decided not to bring a destroyer, whereas KSC has brought a destroyer. KSC's battleship is a Kremlin, whereas ASALT's battleship is Dave in his Kursk. This Salem starts speeding up because he knows what's coming at him. And Louise gets 3 torpedo hits for about 10,000 damage. Remember, aircraft torpedoes, they don't do that much damage, but it's still damage. And as we'll see later in this match, every little bit of damage counts. So yeah. So I unfortunately can't play clan battles. If I had to I would have a horrendous day at work, trying to stay awake. I would have to go to bed at like 6 p.m. in the evening, wake up at about 1 a.m. and then soldier for about 18 hours. Louise does a dive bomb attack on the virtually stationary Kremlin there. Double citadel on him. Ooh, that had to hurt. And 5 minutes into this match, we see Louise is already at 62,000 damage. ASALT is relatively successfully taking A, and both teams have not lost any ships yet, so the scores are fairly even. And as this is the thing with clan battles, you are not playing with random potatoes, and you are playing with people that possibly know how to use the WASD key. Oh, and ASALT loses Norg in the Stalingrad to KSC's Manfred von Richthofen. So ASALT is a Stalingrad down, which is unfortunate. Stalingrad being one of the strongest cruisers out there. And obviously the guys are all on Discord, they're communicating, and obviously have called for Louise to come and reinforce at this side. The white beater drop there on the Goliath, but it gets one torpedo hit and an incapacitation. We see Zigzags in the Des Moines and Dave in across the Cliffest push through this section here, and they are heading towards the sea cap. Field Minotaur in the Venezia successfully caps A and puts ASALT on a, not a points advantage, but a points ticking advantage. The other teams only getting 3 points per tick as Louise scores another 2 citadels on this Kremlin. So ASALT assaults this Kremlin. So ASALT is getting 6 points per tick. Unfortunately, their Manfred von Richthofen takes out Field Minotaur and the Venezia as well, so they are 2 points behind. So ASALT is now getting 6 points per tick, and KSC is getting 3 points per tick. Unfortunately, KSC has still not lost a single ship, and ASALT is down 2 ships already. We see Viper Velocity in his Minotaur sitting in smoke, making somebody's life utter hell. That's Salem. And obviously they were calling that Salem is under assault from 2 sides. You can see left and right side of the island, there is shells going at him. Louise inadvertently finds the gearing, but comes in for a rocket strike on the Salem. Oof. 11 hits and incapacitation and 2 citadels. So that Salem is really, really hurting.
Attention, reporting the target position. Taking fire.
And that poor Salem is about to go down. Ooh. The KSC Kremlin takes out Zigzags in the Des Moines. Louise loses an entire squadron there before it could drop. It's not looking good for ASALT. It is really not looking good. So ASALT still has a Petropavlovsk out at A. He is obviously playing delaying tactics as much as possible with the enemy Petropavlovsk and the Goliath. The KSC Kremlin is now doing Kremlin things, trying to tank an entire team, and gets a rocket strike, and Louise scores ASALT's first kill. That has brought them back within striking distance of KSC. Now remember, ASALT still has a They still have a points and a kill advantage, but ASALT is catching up to KSC. KSC actually brought multiple Salems. This Salem is pulling back. Wow, 12 rocket hits, of which 2 are citadels. And it looks like the KSC Petropavlovsk is trying to cap A as Field Minotaur in the Venezia takes out one of these Salems. And that has just put the ASALT ahead of KSC. Now the ASALT Petro, obviously resetting the KSC Petro in A every time. Luis throws a bit of a Hail Mary, but he did it just to get that Salem to move forward into the ASALT team. Excuse me, frog in the throat so early in the morning.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
It's obviously been called to come and assist in resetting the cap in A. They've got a marginal slim points lead, and mostly because they have had 2 caps versus 1 for most of the match. And the commentator says a victory is in sight, but there's only like 40 points difference. Really? This fucking game some days. Luis skirts around the island towards the rear to avoid most of the flak bubble. Comes in on the Petro. Oh, 9 hits, 3 citadels, and he gets a complete 4 defended ribbons right there. So ASALT's ahead by about 40 points at the moment. Can the guys capitalize on that? Dave in his Grosser not looking good for wear there in the smoke. He is battling a Salem, and luckily he takes out a Salem. So that has put them slightly ahead there, even on ships, and about 100 points ahead now. Fonz in the Petro is calling for support at A, and unfortunately enemy gearing from KSC takes out Dave in his Grosser. And before Luis can reset the A cap, he loses an entire squadron. Fonz in the Petropavlovsk trying his very best to stop that A cap from turning. Unfortunately, not successful. So now, bit of a problem. ASALT are a ship behind and 2 caps behind. And they are now steadily going to lose their little 40 point lead. And again, hyper velocity in the Minotaur kills KSC's Manfred von Richthofen and buys ASALT 100 points. So they are now 867 to 703. So they've got a 170 point lead. Can the guys keep it up? It's 3 versus 3. Luis needs to start moving this carrier because he has a Goliath and a Petropavlovsk coming on. Yeah, coming in hot. And now the commentator is saying the enemy is about to win, but they're 150 points behind. One has to laugh. Ooh, now Luis's aircraft carrier has now been detected. This could possibly not be a good thing. Luis gets only 3 penetrations, no citadels on the enemy Goliath. And it looks like Viper velocity in the Minotaur is going to try and cap C-cap, the enemy's original cap, while Fonz and this Goliath are having a discussion using HE and AP shells. Louise scores one Citadel hit on the Goliath. Unfortunately, that Goliath kills Fons and the Petro. And the two teams are virtually even. ASALT's on 886, KSC on 881. They are now starting to shoot at Louise's CV, and Louise cannot afford to be killed. The margin is just too small. The enemy gearing tries to torpedo Viper Velocity up there and his Minotaur. Luckily Viper manages to secure C. I don't think the gearing wants to be seen by the Minotaur. That's a hell of a lot of AP shells coming at him very fast. So ASALT is now getting 6 points per tick versus KSC's 3 points. There's only the Minotaur and Louise and the Richthofen left, and KSC has got 3 ships. But it does look like ASALT might just have this one. Louise is trying to get out of the range of the Petro, trying to angle. They cannot afford to lose him. 981, 987, and he gets the island between him and the Petro, and then he finds the bloody Goliath and the gearing. 999 points. Looks like ASALT has this. Yeah, very close match. Let's have a look at how well Louise did. 147,000 damage, 1 kill, 15 citadels. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for a very close clan battle. Hope you enjoyed that perspective, and we'll speak soon. Take care. Cheers.